Now we're getting a breaking news where South African President Cyril Ramaphosa reflects US absence from G20 Summit. He says it is regrettable that the United States of America, which is a founding member of the G20 and which takes over the presidency of the G20 from South Africa in 2026, chose not to participate in the Leaders Summit and the final meetings leading up to it. Let's listen in.
Earlier this week, we formally handed over the G20 presidency for 2026 to the United States, observing the appropriate diplomatic protocols. A few days ago, President Donald Trump made a statement to the effect that South Africa would not be invited to participate in the G20 in the United States. He repeated untrue statements about genocide against Afrikaners and the confiscation of land from white people in our country. We must make it clear that South Africa is one of the founding members of the G20, and South Africa is therefore a member of the G20 in its own name and right. As a country, we are aware that the stance taken by the United States administration has been influenced by a sustained campaign of disinformation by groups and individuals within our country, in the United States and elsewhere.
Joining us now is CNN News 18's Siddhant Mishra. Siddhant, very good morning to you. My question to you is, the United States is one of the founding members of the G20 and they chose not to attend the summit. So in your view, what does that say about the confidence and credibility of global forums like the G20 Summit? As a foreign policy expert, what's your assessment of this?
Well, that's right. So, at the time of every G20, there have been differences between the countries, member countries. In fact, during India's G20 also in 2023, the world was divided into two blocks. One set of countries were supporting Russia, the other were supporting US and Europe. But despite that, India could manage to pull off the joint communique, only because all countries, when they sat on the table, they were convinced that let's not let this grouping get collapsed. Let's work together. Let's try to deliver a joint communique. Because as we have been discussing before, that this is one grouping which is of the 20 fastest growing economies in the world. It is also one grouping where global south meets global north. So this particular grouping is very, very significant. You take G7, you take any other grouping. G7 only finds countries from countries of the developed, only developed countries. You take any other grouping, any other alliance, Transatlantic Alliance. So they come from same background, same origins. G20 is unique because here global south, and global north meet, emerging and emerged economies meet. So the success of this grouping is very, very important for the world. And this is a reason that, in fact, when United States decided to boycott the African G20, it was not received well by any of the member country. In fact, you see that United States' closest allies, in Europe, in Middle East, they all participated in the South African G20 because everybody understands the importance of the G20 summit because it sets the agenda. Now what happened that since United States boycotted, initially they requested the charge their affairs to be handed over the baton, but South Africa refused. Later, South Africa came up with a statement that already the presidency and the technical instruments have been handed over to the U.S. embassy in South Africa. And now President Trump has said that he will not be inviting Cyril Ramaphosa and South Africa to take part in USA's G20. So, this should not be done. And in fact, the world has also not very much appreciated US's stance as far as boycotting G20 or not letting South Africa be the part of the next G20. As I said, that's very, very important.
Right. Thank you, Siddhant, for your input. But for now, we're slipping into a short break. We'll be right back with more stories. Stay tuned.